Football fans, welcome to the Football v Football podcast. This is the NFL Conference Championship Pick'em Show. We got Omar Yusuf on the call. How's it going, bro?
Doing good, man. Hanging in there, just trying to get over my depression.
Nah, man, it's good to have you on. I know after the last round, it was kind of fresh, but I'm glad that we're here now. The conference championship game, on to new things. I know there is an NFC East team in this round here, but I mean we'll see what goes down. I think it's going to be a good game. And yeah, as we were talking about right before the pod, on this one we're going to introduce a new segment where we ask Chat GPT a question about each game or a couple questions about each game, just to see the AI response to this. It seems to be something that everyone is kind of talking about. So looking forward to introducing that segment. I want to remind everyone, whoever is watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, share. If you're listening on a podcast platform, subscribe and give a rating. But we'll go ahead and we'll jump right into the game that's actually about to start here. The San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are, this line was 2.5 about a few hours ago, and then I just checked it, and now the Eagles are 3-point favorites. So, Omar Yusuf, we'll start with you here. What do you think about this one?
That's interesting. I don't think the last time I remember the line increasing, at least like this deep into the season.
Right.
So I will say it very reluctantly. I think these are probably the two best teams in the conference. They earned it, right? I've been saying it all year that the Eagles, top to bottom, have one of the best rosters in the league, and both sides of the trenches, right? Offensive, defensive, their lines are very stout. Their skill positions are very good. It's not necessarily a surprise to me that they're here. And the 49ers, like you and I have been, I mean, I don't know if you want to say rave, but we have been very high on them all year. And it is not a surprise to me that they are here at all. So I think it's a very fitting kind of matchup that we have going on here. These are the two best teams. I think, what's funny about this game is that if the seeding was inverted and if the 49ers were the one team, I don't think that this game would be as close as I think it'll be today. I think that the Eagles getting the one seed kind of evened things out a little bit. Gave them a better chance to win this game because, to be honest, I just think the Niners are the best team in the NFC. The way that they play, I think they definitely have the coaching advantage here. I don't know how high I am on Sirianni. I know he rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
Cocky all of a sudden, man. This guy's never been cocky. All of a sudden, he's getting so cocky.
Yeah, he's such a front runner. Like when he beat Cooper Rush, he was like all ecstatic. All week he was saying like, "Oh, it's not a big deal." And then he beats Cooper Rush, and it's like, "Oh," and then he beats the Colts, and he's talking smack to the fans. It's like, dude, come on, like,
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah.
But like even separate and apart from that, Kyle Shanahan to me is one of the top 5 coaches in the league, I'd say. His game management is probably a little iffy at times, but I think he makes up for it with play design, play calling, and like it's just amazing to me how he just keeps winning. Like they have so many injuries, and it's been like 2 years now where they have been, they've been so injury riddled, and you just keep like it's like a machine that just keeps churning, it just keeps going. And he's so good at finding roles for his players. Dare I say, that's what made Belichick great, right? He takes guys and uses them in unique ways, right? Like Belichick put Troy Brown at cornerback, remember, and as returner, and he was good at it.
Yep.
Shanahan will take Debo and put him at running back, and he's good at it.
Yeah.
And I and he also last year, if you remember, he put Trent Williams, like, he had him running motions and then like put him out in space and lead blocking, like,
Yeah.
really creative,
Yeah.
really creative. And I think that puts him in that top five coaching tree, or top five list of coaches. And not to mention just the talent that they have and the physicality that they bring. The interesting matchup to me. Sorry, you can cut me off. I'm kind of rambling right now, I know.
Go as long as you
But
want.
um, the quarterback matchup's kind of interesting to me here, and the reason I say that is because I'm not going to take anything away from Jalen Hurts and what he's done this year. I think he's been great. He definitely deserves to be in that MVP conversation. Definitely deserves that second All Pro. But like I've been saying all year, it has to do, in my opinion, with how they're using him and they're structuring the offense to his strengths, which is smart. I'm not taking anything away from that. But I just wonder, and I'm going to continue to wonder, you force him to throw like down the field consistently. Can he do that? I don't know. Like I've been saying, I don't know. And on the flip side, Purdy has been very solid. I know his numbers say the numbers he's been putting up are like elite numbers. I know that. But if you dig a little deeper, his competition hasn't been great. He's not necessarily throwing the ball down the field consistently. He's not having to make tight window throws and all of that. But like, it's okay because he doesn't have to, right? He has like elite weapons and he just has to get them the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm either defense here, I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of force one of the other quarterback to play to their weakness. Like I'm either forcing Purdy to win this game, or on the flip side, I'm forcing Hurts to throw the ball consistent. I am selling out to take away the run if I'm San Francisco, and it's just like, you got to beat me throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of how I see it stacking up with these two teams. It's gonna be really interesting because I think both teams are pretty physical, and yeah, it should hopefully be a good game.
You mentioned the line here moving so late, and that's the first thing I noticed about this one, because this was 2.5 for the Eagles up until a few hours ago. And of course, the NFL, or I guess Vegas, gives 3 points to the home team usually just because they're the home team. So if you get less than 3 points, that's usually an acknowledgement that the away team is the better team. So I would agree with you there. I think this is a implicit admission that the Niners are the better team. Um, just another macro point here. The Niners have won 5 Super Bowl titles here. They're chasing their sixth. It's been almost 30 years since they won their last Super Bowl in 1994. They've been chasing it for a while. They've been talking about chasing it for a while. I just saw that Elijah Mitchell is out of this game with a groin injury. So I think that's maybe why the line moved a little bit. But to be honest with you, when I see Jordan Mason run, who is their third string running back, I think he's probably just as good as Elijah Mitchell, maybe even better, because the way Jordan Mitchell has these jump cuts is like maybe nobody I've ever seen. He's also another rookie running back. So I don't think that's going to make much of a difference, honestly. The Eagles, a great team, obviously, as you mentioned, many weapons on offense. They've had a great season, although they slipped up at the end of the regular season there, and I did not forget that. I mean, the Niners' adversity came at the beginning of the season, and they're now on a 10-game win streak, and they seem to be a locomotive at this point. Of course, Eagles, they kind of cleared up any doubt last week when they beat the Giants 38-7. I got to give them full credit for that because they looked like they were stumbling, but they got it done. And then the quarterbacks that you mentioned, Purdy. I mean, the fact that this guy, even though he gives the other team a chance every week, it doesn't seem to get picked off for whatever reason that is, and until I see it, I'm not going to to say that he's going to turn the ball over because he every week it's like 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, or even last week 0 touchdowns but 0 interceptions. And then Jalen Hurts, as you mentioned, usually is a guy that doesn't throw the ball very far. I mean, I don't think that he's typically known for the deep pass. He'll get it to Goddard, he'll get it to Devontae. Sometimes he'll throw a deep ball to Brown, but typically I think he's a guy that's a runner that can throw. He has a pretty good balance, but he's not an exceptional thrower. Um, so with all that being said, I think when I look at both teams, I think the Niners are overall the more complete team on offense and on defense, but specifically on defense. So I'm going to go with the Niners here in a really close game. I'm going to give it to them 18-17 in a close one. So
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. To be honest, what I really wanted to pick the Niners in a blowout. Like I really hope that that's what happens here. And
yeah,
listen, man, I know you hate the 49ers,
I do.
and the last 2 years have reminded me how much I hate them as well.
Yeah.
I think nostalgia kind of like blinded that for me, and I've rediscovered how much I hate them in the last 2 years. But the Eagles making the Super Bowl would be a nightmare. Like, just an absolute nightmare, bro. Like, please, Allah, like, God, please do not let this happen. Like, I would cry. So, I think out of respect for the Eagles and, like, how good of a team they are, and the fact that they are playing at home, I agree it's going to be a close game. I would imagine to be lower scoring. So I'm gonna say 24-20. San Francisco wins this game.
All right.
I just agree with what you're saying about the roster and them being a more complete team. The coaching discrepancy might be a key in this game as well. So
yes,
definitely something I'll keep an eye out for.
Good point. Yeah, Shanahan's been there. Sirianni, he's still like a fresh guy. That's very, yeah.
Yeah, and one key point I was kind of talking about with my friends today, the Niners should have been in the Super Bowl last year, in my opinion. I thought they were the better team last year. And if I forgot, was it Webb? I don't remember, but whoever dropped that pick last year, if he doesn't drop that interception, they win that game.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people forget that. So
yeah.
They have unfinished business, I think, or at least maybe that's how they feel.
Good point. Good point. A good reminder that the Rams did indeed buy last year's Super Bowl, and with a lot of help from the NFL. That's a good reminder. But we will now move to the new segment. I don't know how this is going to work. Trying it out for the first time, the Chat GPT AI integration here. I'm going to start with one question, and if you have a question, you can ask this after. So my experience with Chat GPT is that it doesn't necessarily predict the future. That's what it'll tell us if we say like who will win this game. So I won't quite ask that, but the question I will ask here as I write it in is about the absence of Elijah Mitchell. So I'm going to say, how will the absence of Elijah Mitchell affect the 49ers in the NFC Championship game? And I have Chat GPT. I know you can't see it, but it's in another screen here. And I'm going to move this to the Google Translate so it can speak, so people on podcasts can hear it. So, all right, I'm moving it here, and this is what ChatGPT says about that question.
The absence of running back Elijah Mitchell will likely have a negative impact on the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Mitchell was a key player in their running game, and his absence could affect their offensive balance and production. The team will have to make adjustments to compensate for his loss and find ways to maintain their ground attack.
Okay, so I guess like a general kind of
that's pretty cool
answer there, right? Like, yeah, they'll definitely have to compensate for it. They do have Jordan Mason, who I think would compensate for it, but Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other question that you would want to ask? We can get one in here, and then we can move on to the other game.
Yeah. How would the physicality of the 49ers defense impact Jalen Hurts running since he's coming off an injury, that shoulder injury?
All right, I put that question in. It is generating an answer. This is a little bit longer than the other one. Okay, we got it. All right. And here is the answer to that question. All right, here we go.
The physicality of the San Francisco 49ers defense could impact Jalen Hurts' running, especially if he is coming off an injury. The 49ers have a strong and physical defense, and facing them could put extra strain on Hurts' injury and potentially make it worse. Hurts may have to adjust his running style or be limited in his mobility to avoid further injury. The team will have to weigh the risk and potential impact on Hurts' health versus the need for him to run in order to be effective on offense.
Okay, so maybe they're saying that Jalen Hurts should be running a little bit less in this game. That's
I don't see it happening. I think at this point you just go all out, and whatever happens, happens.
yeah. Nice. Okay, cool. All right, so I think we have like a cool bit. I think that was kind of cool. We'll do that for the next game here too as well. So we'll move on to the AFC Championship game. Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are 2 point favorites here. Actually, yesterday it was 1.5 point. Now it's 2 point favorites. So both of these lines moved in favor of the home team. But again, I'm going to say it again. The home team is usually given 3 points. So the fact that they're given 2 points or only 1.5 point yesterday, again, is an acknowledgement that I think that the Bengals are probably as good or slightly better. So that's what Vegas is saying, according to my understanding of the lines here. So, what do you think is going to go down in this one?
So this one's actually an interesting matchup. I think the Bengals have kind of snuck up a little bit in terms of talent, like offensive talent, without a lot of people realizing it. Because if you look at the two teams, right, like I think the Bengals receiving core, for example, which is what everybody's looking at, right? They're looking at the offenses here. If you look at the Bengals receiving core, I think it's better than the Chiefs receiving core, to be honest. Like if we don't include Kelsey, if we take Travis Kelsey out, we're just looking strictly at the receivers. Chiefs don't have those great receivers, and I think they are another team that's very worthy. I've been saying that all year too. I think they got hot as the season went on. They started getting better and better. I think Burrow has really overcome the lack of a good offensive line. I think he's done like an exceptional job at kind of making the most of what he has, and I the fact that they went into Buffalo, I didn't expect them to win that game. I was hoping that they would, but I didn't expect them to. The fact that they went into Buffalo in the snow with knowing the history of what happened like a month ago, and they went in and they won that game, won it pretty decisively. It wasn't like they squeaked by. I think that might bode pretty well for their confidence heading into this game. Not to mention the fact that Burrow is 3-0 against Mahomes. And
That's right.
I think what's getting lost, and I keep saying, I've been saying all like he is the second best quarterback in the league, and I think if he can keep doing what he's doing, he can match Mahomes in these head-to-head competitions. Because I think I saw somewhere somebody said this. I don't know who it is. I just want to make sure I give proper credit to whoever said this. Mahomes is probably the better talent, but Burrow is better at playing quarterback, right? Like if you're gonna put out teaching tape and if you're gonna coach kids like how to play quarterback, I would never show them Patrick Mahomes because he's going to do things that most people can't do.
Good point.
You're going to pull your hair out and do all because he's just like all this like off the wall stuff. But Burrow is fundamentally sound. He's going to make the right play. He's going to make the right reads. Yeah, maybe he holds on to the ball a little too long. He takes too many sacks. But the way that he operates that offense, I think has elevated this team and has them playing above the level of, for example, that offensive line. And it's crazy to me that they're playing so well, notwithstanding how bad the offensive line is. So I think the quarterback matchup here, as opposed to like the NFC, is one that will kind of be the deciding factor in this, or could be the deciding factor in this game. I think because these are like elite quarterbacks now who are going at it, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this kind of goes.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned the teams coming into this. The Kansas City Chiefs played the Jaguars and kind of struggled with them a little bit, right? I mean, Jaguars, I will say they are kind of an up and coming team, but to struggle with that kind of team, win by only a touchdown, as opposed to the Bengals, who go into Buffalo in a year that they feel like the Bills are destined to win in the snow, in the elements that the Buffalo Bills know how to play in better than anybody else, and handily beat that team 27-10. It tells me that the Bengals and the Chiefs are coming from different places here. The Bengals have absolutely more momentum than the Chiefs do, coming in from a close game as opposed to a blowout, a very impressive win by the Bengals. The Mahomes injury from last week looked pretty bad, actually. Like from what I saw, and he was limping around the entire game and tried to come back later, and they said it's a high ankle sprain, which is usually a multi-week injury. Like I don't know how he's coming back from this so soon. Rushing him back within a week, he said, "Oh, I have an extra day because we played on Saturday." Well, no, it doesn't matter. An extra day as opposed to like several weeks, that's not anything. And maybe this actually does limit his mobility and his ability to run, which is a part of his game. Um, I actually think, and I can see, unfortunately, Mahomes being knocked out of this game in the first half, and Chad Henne coming in again and maybe playing well for a little bit of a stretch like he did last time, but eventually, Bengals are a good defense. They ultimately make him look like a backup. You touched on this before. The Cincinnati mayor came out and was talking trash to the Kansas City Chiefs about the Bengals here. They said, of course, like you mentioned, Joe Burrow is 3-0 against the Chiefs, which is impressive. But he went ahead and he called Arrowhead Burrowhead. All right, so he renamed that stadium, and so one thing he did that really surprised me. He went this far. He said he asked for a paternity test to see if Joe Burrow is Mahomes' father. And that's usually stuff you don't usually hear from anywhere other than the comment section in like social media. So I can't believe he went that far. This Cincinnati area, right?
Hey, it's Ohio, man.
It's Ohio. That's a good point. That's a good point, man. And you know what? The Bengals are gonna have to back up all this talk. And until I heard that comment from the Cincinnati mayor, I thought that Bengals were going to come into this kind of as the underdog. They're playing away, but like with all this talk, it's going to make it tougher for them. But I do think that they have a great team and a great poised quarterback, like you mentioned, in Joe Burrow, and they have unfinished business from the Super Bowl last year. And so I think they're going to get back in the Super Bowl. They've never won one. They've never won a Super Bowl. They are the hungrier team here. And I think they're going to get back to the Super Bowl, and they're going to win this game 20-17.
Yeah, man. I just wish people would stop talking. It just puts like unnecessary pressure onto the team. Like really, like it just like I felt this way last week when people were talking and like saying this, and the Mattress King was placing like a $3 million bet. I'm like, just like, dude, just stop, please.
Mattress Mac, yeah.
Yeah, Mattress
That
Mac.
guy has so much money, man. Every time I see he's making like multi-million-dollar bets, like can't relate to the common people. Yeah,
it's a joke.
But yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point about Mahomes' injury. I actually kind of forgot about that. If you watch the replay of that injury, it looked really similar to the Tony Pollard injury.
Exactly.
The way that, and he broke his leg.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I looked like a dirty play, but whatever. I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so even if it's like a high ankle sprain, I wonder how bad it is. Like you said, he won't be able to. He won't be able to run. I don't think he'll be able to scramble. At least not like he wants to. And can he even plant? Right? Can he even plant on that leg? Like it's. I remember when we played in 2014 when we played the Packers. This is the Des Cotta game.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers had like a calf strain or something, and I remember his lineman like had to carry him like to and from the huddle. Like he would complete a pass and like he would like hobble to the line, or his lineman would carry him. Like I remember this.
Yeah.
And he was fine, but I think like playing with the calf strain is different than playing with a high ankle sprain where you can't like plant on your foot. It just seems like it's like anatomically different. So yeah, that's a big X factor in this game. I think I'm going to agree with you though on the overall prediction. I think I'm going to take Cincinnati here to win like a close game. And yeah, I think this game will be probably closer than the Niners Eagles game. I'm assuming. Since you picked 20-17, I'll just go like I don't know, 28-27 or no, I'll say 30-27. 30-27. I don't think that there's like great defenses here, so I'll say 30-27. And we get a rematch between the Bengals and the 49ers. What was it, Super Bowl 20, I think?
Yes, that's right.
Which hopefully we get. That would actually be, I think, the best possible matchup here.
Absolutely. And a Bengals win in that. Well, okay, I won't say that now, but I would want a Bengals win in that scenario. Obviously, I'm not going to hide that. I'm an NFC West guy. I would want the Bengals to win, definitely.
I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah.
I think we would all want that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think. That's where I'm going to go here. I think Burrow kind of continues to carry this team and kind of push them over the top.
And if I remember, that game was a blowout by the Niners, right? When they played in that Super Bowl.
I think they played them twice, didn't they? One was a blowout, and one was like a last second
closer
pass to Taylor. I'd have to look it up, but I know they've definitely beaten them. I know obviously the Niners won. I don't remember which one it was though.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's bring back in Chatty G over here. I have my first question going in, and I'm gonna go ahead and type it in here. It's related to the Bengals in the Super Bowl, so I'm gonna ask: are the Cincinnati Bengals good enough to win a Super Bowl? Just a general question here. Let's see what Chatty G has to say. All right, it's taking a while to answer here. Maybe it's a more difficult question. All right, now it's getting started. Okay, this is kind of an interesting answer that I'm seeing here. It's kind of a flaw within ChatGPT, but maybe we'll get something. All right, we're getting another paragraph. All right, okay, we got the answer here, and we'll take this into account next time we ask a question. But all right, here's the answer to that question.
As of my knowledge cutoff in 2021, it is difficult to say whether the Cincinnati Bengals are good enough to win a Super Bowl. Many factors, such as team performance, player health, and strength of competition, can impact a team's chances of winning a championship. The Bengals have shown promise in recent seasons, but they still have areas to improve in order to consistently compete with the league's top teams. Ultimately, a team's ability to win a Super Bowl depends on many variables and can be unpredictable.
Okay, so a very PC answer by Chatty G there. It's not updated since 2021. So whoever's working on ChatGPT, update it from 2021 so we can get some better answers here. But it said it can't compete with top teams. I think the Bengals are a top team at this point. I think they've elevated themselves to a top team. So I would say that they absolutely can compete. OY, do you have any question that you would want to ask here? Can you think of anything?
Yeah. How will Patrick Mahomes' injury affect this game?
Championship game. All right. How will Patrick Mahomes' injury affect the AFC Championship game? All right. We're getting an answer here. All right. We got the answer. Plug it in. All right. Here it is.
Patrick Mahomes' injury could significantly impact the AFC Championship game. Mahomes is a key player for the Kansas City Chiefs, and his absence or limited mobility could affect the team's offensive production and game plan. The Chiefs may have to make adjustments to compensate for his loss and find alternative ways to score points. The opposing team may also change their defensive strategy to take advantage of Mahomes' injury. The impact of Mahomes' injury on the game will depend on the severity and extent of the injury, as well as the ability of the Chiefs to adapt and overcome the loss of their star player.
The loss of their star player. So maybe they're saying that they think he's going to get knocked out of the team knocked out of the game as well. All right. So we have some general answers here by ChatGPT. I wish I want it to be a little more controversial than this. It's giving kind of surface level answers, but everyone's kind of talking about ChatGPT, so I wanted to integrate it into this, and I thought there were some nuggets of kind of interesting stuff that came up here. Yeah, but I guess we'll see. So the first game just started. Are you watching this? The first game, the Niners and
Yeah,
Eagles?
I just saw I saw Brock Purdy fumble, and now like they just punted the ball away. So no points. That's good.
Okay, did he turn it over?
Yeah, they reviewed it. It was like one of those. It was like a tuck rule thing, but they said it's a fumble.
Okay, so the Eagles recovered.
Eagles recovered. They already went 3-and-out after the.
Oh, okay. So we do have a Brock Purdy turnover. So you don't see that often.
We do.
Okay, so we'll see. Maybe this will be a different game, but so we'll go ahead and close out this podcast here, so people can get to watching these games here.
Yeah,
Go
real
ahead.
quick point of clarification before the old heads come after me.
Okay.
So it was Super Bowl 23 when the 49ers beat the Bengals in the closing seconds of the game, 20 to 16. 20 to 16.
Okay.
I think that's the game. The famous game where like Joe Montana pointed up into the stands. It was like, oh, is that John Candy up in the stands or whatever?
Oh,
That's the story.
Yeah.
The next year is when they blew out the Broncos 55-10.
Oh, okay. They blew out the Broncos. Got it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good. That was, I think, was that John Elway? Yeah, it must have been John Elway.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Cool. Well, we'll see if that happens this year. Okay, so it was a close game against the Bengals, so we'll see if we get a rematch of that coming out of the conference championship weekend. But that'll bring this podcast to a close. I want to thank Omar Yusuf for jumping on. This has been the Football v Football podcast conference championship pick'em show. I want to remind you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead, give a like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the notification bell. We are also on Instagram. Follow us there. Follow us on Twitter. And whatever podcast platform you're listening on, subscribe, follow us on there, and leave a good review. Omar Yusuf, thank you so much for jumping on, bro.
Of course.
Have a fantastic day, football fans.